Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Come on in here and sit down with me today. We're looking at Psalm 114. We started this yesterday, and I forgot to ask you the questions yesterday. Are you living amongst a people of a strange language? Well, it's time to come out. Is God your sanctuary? Are you His? Well, it's time to make that change too, isn't it? He is with His people. That's really the major point of this psalm. I said it's catechetical, it's simple, it teaches a single point, and that is the presence of God with His people changes everything. And, we see it here in the very first part in verses 1 and 2. It changes the fact that they were living in Egypt amongst a people of a strange language. They didn't speak the language of holiness. They spoke the language of idolatry. And so sometimes, God has to bring us out when we make Him our sanctuary, when we provide Him a place to rule in our hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, He will bring us out of Egypt. Today we're going to look at verses 3 and 4, and something happens with creation. Now, let me read those for us. The sea saw it and fled. The Jordan was driven back. The mountains skipped like rams. The little hills like lambs. Well, the sea saw it. What did it see? What did the sea see? Well, the sea saw that Judah was His sanctuary, Israel His dominion. The sea saw that Israel went out of Egypt, and the house of Jacob from a people of a strange language. You see, they proceeded from Egypt to the seaside. They went down to the seaside, and what are they seeing? They're saying God is in the midst of His people, and that makes a difference, because when the sea saw that God was in the midst of His people, it fled. Not because of the people, but because they saw who is with those people. God is with those people. And that is the story of the dividing of the Red Sea. There in 3a, the Red Sea is referred to, of course. Of course, we're talking about the Exodus story. And then you notice the Jordan was driven back. Well, that's the story that's found in Joshua. In Joshua, when the Jordan is crossed, and what happens? The priests march into the Jordan with the Ark of the Covenant on their shoulders, and they stand in the midst of the Jordan, and the Jordan is folded up like a garment all the way back up to the north. And the people cross on dry ground across the Jordan. So the sea is divided because God's with His people. The Jordan driven back. Why? God is with His people. They're on the march. They're headed into the land. The mountains skipped like rams, and the little hills like lambs. That is, rejoicing at the presence of God. They're all rejoicing at the presence of God. And where is He? He's with His people. There is nothing mightier than God with His people. As a matter of fact, Solomon writes in the Song of Songs in chapter 6, and in two places in that 6th chapter of Solomon's song, we have him describing the church in the wilderness as an army with banners. He says, "Thou art beautiful, O my love, as Tirzah, comely as Jerusalem, terrible as an army with banners." And then, that's in verse 4 of chapter 6. And then in chapter 10, he writes, "Who is she that looketh forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, terrible as an army with banners?" You see, the mountains skipped and the little hills skipped like lambs, because here comes none other than the church, the people with whom God has residence. That's who they are. They come and they're ready to cross over the Jordan. They're ready to climb up the hills. They're ready to walk through the Red Sea. And the only thing the creation can do is get out of the way, because here is the Creator amongst His very own people. Yeah, you see, friends, this is the wonderful miracle of salvation where creation gives way to the Creator. And it is the blessing that comes from having Him present with you. He tabernacles in you if you're a believer in Christ Jesus. Well, join me again tomorrow. We'll look at verses 5 and 6 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.